Okay.
What's going on, everybody? This is Jonathan McMillan back at you once again for another BTA conversation. This has been a really exciting series that I have started, and I just really can't uh, express how excited I am to be part of this. So today I am again going to use the word excited because that's where I am. I'm really excited for who our guest is. Um, I met this young lady probably about 3 years ago, and she's just a very genuine person. We connected on Facebook. I was checking out the things that she was posting. She was checking out the things I was posting, and just a genuine friendship formed. And then both of our journeys kind of went crazy, and through that journey it was funny because what she was going through was inspiring me to write things and kind of develop who I was being in this Jonathan McMillan as the success personal development coach. And come to find out the things I was writing, because she was inspiring me, was inspiring her. And so we had this whole synchronicity 360 thing going on. So without any further ado, I want to introduce you guys to Miss Tonie Jones. Tonie Jones is the owner of Brow Snob. She's the mother of a just precious little. What, she's 5 years old now.
He is.
Yep. Adorable, adorable little girl, Leah. And like I said, she's my friend. So Tonie, thank you for joining me. I appreciate it. How are you?
Good. I'm great. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to
Well,
use your word. I'm excited.
yep. I'm gonna try to trademark excited. So anyway, so I gave a very brief introduction of who you are to me. Love you to death. I thank you for a lot of times checking me, keeping me honest. I know that you get tired of me doing the same to you, so I'm glad it's a two-way street.
It is.
Uh, but with that in mind, well, not even that's with that in mind. I've gave who you are to me. Would you mind introducing yourself so that our viewers get to know who you are?
Thanks. I'm just probably just gonna expand that just a tad bit. I am the owner of Brow Snob. It's a brown beauty boutique located in Cherry Creek North, and I specialize in brow sculpting and grooming, brow rehab, and brow extensions. I'm also a licensed esthetician, a certified makeup artist for about 18 years, and the mother of three daughters, ages 23, 18, and 5. So I'm very busy. And then I'm also a metastatic breast cancer survivor. I was diagnosed, it's hard to believe, next month, end of next month, it will be 2 years ago, with stage 4 breast cancer. Um, Blessing in my particular situation, it was not a terminal sentence, but definitely now a lifelong disease that I live with, but also I'm a metastatic breast cancer advocate, with my focus being educating the African American community about this disease.
Okay, awesome, awesome. Well, and I'm going to go right there. Metastatic breast cancer. Now, that's not the same as the typical breast cancer everybody hears about, correct?
No, right. Metastatic cancer, whenever you hear the term metastatic for any form of cancer, means that the tumor or cancer cells have traveled from the original area or site that you were diagnosed at. So every form of cancer has a metastatic, unfortunately, component to it. So I was diagnosed with metastatic breast cancer, which means that although tumors were found in both breasts, that cancer cells had also traveled to other parts of my body. It could be your organs, it could be your bones. In my situation, it was my lower and upper spine. So I also have um, cancer in my spine.
Okay, well, see, I just got a biology lesson. I'm going to actually time out here so I can turn that ringer off. Because can you hear it clearly?
Yep.
Okay, so Hold on a second. I need to pause here. I'll edit this part out.
Okay.
Let's see why. That's why I need my
Oh,
own
and then my
office.
phone rings. Hold on. Hello. Hey. Oh, okay. Yeah. That what you call something? Oh. Oh, well, that's good. It's not pneumonia. Oh, okay. As soon as I finish, I will call you back. Are you guys on your way to go pick up Lily? Oh, okay. All right. All right. Hold on.
It's all good.
Okay.
All right. So I'll have to edit that.
That's fine.
Okay. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Well, thank you for that good education, because I had no idea that's what that meant. I don't even know how to say it correctly. Metastatic?
Metastatic.
Met?
Metastatic.
Okay. Yep. That's what you said.
Practice on that. Okay.
So one of the questions always, I mean, I think you kind of already answered this, but with Brow Snob, I've kind of watched you start this journey and get there. And, you know, you've told us about your experience in working with makeup and whatnot for all these years. And now here you are, a business owner. So I guess the question is kind of what led you from being just a makeup artist, an employee, to being a business owner, like your sign says behind you, like a boss. What got you on that journey?
You know, Jonathan, when I look back on my life, I think this was always the goal.
Mm-hmm.
I've made this attempt in different forms, probably over and over again for the last 20 years, whether I was a freelance makeup artist or at one time I had a smaller spa spot that I opened it and was open shortly. I've always done some type of entrepreneurial path on some degree, never doing it the right way so that it was able to take off like it should. But I think underneath it all, this was always the dream.
Okay. Okay. So my next question is, and you sort of answered it. Has the strategy always been clear, or I guess in your case, what made the strategy clear? What kind of cleared up and defined that one day you will be sitting in your own studio with the sign hanging above you that says like a boss?
Um, Really, having cancer changed a lot for me, not just health wise, but perspective. And as I was ending treatment, I had the opportunity to go back to work for the company I was with, and I was grateful for that. But I really wanted to try this on my own, so I started seeking assistance. I had done it wrong so many times. I knew that I didn't have the right education to do it right. So I started seeking help and trying to find an organization, a person, someplace that I could partner with that would help me lay out the steps and do it in baby steps. Because I've done the business plan classes and the SBCA. I've done all that, but I needed something that was broke it down more for me and made it easier for me to achieve. And that's when I came across Rocky Mountain Microfinance and signing up with them and going through their 12-week course.
And that's a great organization. I am proud to say that just a couple weeks I will be going through their boot camp. Oh, I made it. I did. And as a testament, you and Candace watching, and for those who don't know, Candace will soon be interviewed here with us as well. Fingers crossed. But yeah, I applied and watched. I have watched and witnessed what they have done for the two of you, and I would be silly for me not to not to take that step as well. As just like you, I'm started in the space a lot of times, started and stopped, and it wasn't until I learned that yeah, there are going to be obstacles, but in order to be successful, you have to identify those obstacles. You have to learn whatever skills and habits you need to overcome those obstacles. And usually you learn and develop those skills by identifying people who are successful or know how to do whatever it is that you're attempting to do. You know, it's one of the things I talk about heavily in the book. I call that the formula to success. I'm glad I finally figured it out. What you mentioned your three little girls, but I think probably with well, your three daughters. I won't say little girls, but your three daughters. Besides, well, I won't say besides. I know that's usually the go-to answer when I ask people what motivates you. They always say my children. And if that's your genuine, authentic answer, I'm not going to take that from you. But I have a feeling you mentioned perspective. Your perspective became a lot clearer when you became a breast cancer diagnosis. So my question is, what motivates you?
Um, what motivates me? Oh, yes, my children do. So that's the automatic answer. But then I'm gonna go with the selfish answer. Myself, I did not want, because of the disease that I live with, it's unpredictable. I could be great today, and that could not be the case in 30 days. So I did not want to continue life without experiencing my dreams. And the top of that dream was being an entrepreneur. So that gave me a different level of motivation, because once you see life threatened and or the possibility of it being taken away from you, you start to weed out what matters. And I know everyone says that. And you do. You start to weed out what matters. But then there's a process you go to whether or not you start to really pursue what matters and make your life about those things.
Right.
And I think that was the difference for me. It wasn't just about talking about that, oh, life is so precious. I know how fleeting it could be. Yes, I learned that lesson, unfortunately. But I also learned that when I look at my life, I want to look back and say, I did it. I tried it. I attempted it. I enjoyed it. So that's my other motivation. It's just being able to live my dream.
And that's awesome. Like you know, and I haven't talked about this a lot, but I went through that same experience when I was accused of a crime that I hadn't committed, and I was looking at life in prison. Things came real clear about what mattered and what didn't, and
Right?
who mattered and who didn't. It got real clear real quick, and
Exactly.
I began to think about my legacy and uh, did I want to be known for the rest of my life as this person who this person was accusing me of being, or did I want to be a person who made a difference in this world? And Julian, Julian that wasn't even born yet, and so that even motivated me even more. That I wanted him to know whoever his daddy was going to be. I wanted that to be defined in my terms. So I don't think that's
Yes.
a selfish answer at all, Tony. I think it's a very selfless answer that you know you were given this life to live to the fullest, and that's what you're supposed to do. I think it becomes very selfish when people play small with their lives because of fear or uh, their addiction to being comfortable. So I commend you on that. And again, like I said, as I watched you go through that journey, we had just really met at the beginning of that, and I watched how you handled that fight with so much grace. It was very, very inspiring to me, and it helped me. It really helped me stay on task and on point with how I was looking at approaching the challenges I was dealing with. My next question is very simple. You know, you said that owning, being in this place where you are now was always the goal. As entrepreneurs and people who, as we just said, are looking to further our lives, what are your three biggest goals right now?
My three biggest goals right now. Um, I feel like they're all centered around either Brow Snob or the girls, but it's to make Brow Snob $1 million business.
Mm-hmm.
That's my goal, and a nationwide brand. I haven't thought about worldwide, but that might be it too. Um, to create a platform or not just a legacy. Two of my girls are grown, and so I don't want them working for anyone else.
Mm-hmm.
If this is the path they want to go in any capacity, I want to be able to, for them to do it within Brow Snob. So my other goal, biggest goal, is to teach my children the value of entrepreneurship and that it's attainable. Don't have to live their lives constantly working for someone else. That's really important for me. Um, my other personal goal is really just giving back to the community and trying to save lives. I want to tell my story. I'm really open about my story. I try to be fairly transparent about my life and what I've been through and what it looks like going forward. Because in the African American community, we are dying. That we have the highest number of dying of metastatic breast cancer. And before I had it, I didn't hear of it. Just like you mentioned earlier, you had never heard of it. We think of breast cancer as one just blanket disease. And so my other biggest goal is education, and so we can help decrease those numbers.
That's awesome. That is awesome. You'll notice, I know I've never told you this, but a lot of times when I talk to you, I get goosebumps. I get chills because you are so centered in who you are in this life. It's really amazing. It's really amazing, and I really appreciate who you are, who you show up to be
Thank
in
you.
this world. Is I know I tease you a lot because you shy away from it a lot of times. I think the greatness that you are potentially capable of scares you, and so I tease you to push you back into it.
I agree with that.
But it's all good because
I'm
I've
working
been in
on
that
it. It's
place.
one of my goals for 2016. It
I,
really is.
honestly, I've been in that place too. So I tease you only because I understand, and it took somebody pushing me to get there too. Um, Ian Humphrey, look for that conversation coming up. So my question I usually ask a lot of people is, what is their biggest obstacle they've overcome, and how did they do it? I think that question's probably been asked and answered already in this conversation.
Oh, can I answer it again though?
Yeah, sure.
I think I want to answer it again because I think my biggest obstacle is myself, and just being able to realize what I'm capable of and pushing
Hmm.
myself to it. Um, I feel like I am not afraid of not succeeding. I'm afraid of really succeeding. And so that's something I'm kind of working on right now with myself. But that's my biggest obstacle with me.
And so, what skills or habits have you identified as helping you overcome that obstacle?
Morning my morning ritual of prayer and meditation right now
Mhm.
is playing a huge part in that shift. And I'm a self help junkie. I'm a self help junkie. Like I am, really am. And so I'll read every book I can find about self help. But I'm also realizing now that I'm focusing on my mindset. So affirmations, thanks to you, positive self talk, and putting myself out there, just doing it. Sometimes at the end of the day, you just have to do it and take that risk. So those are the things that I'm working on to help change that obstacle.
That's awesome because honestly, just especially the last part that you just said, just doing it is so underappreciated because people look at doing it as and they're scared to just do it for the risk of failing, not understanding that failing is not fatal. Failing is just
It
an
can feel
attempt.
like it sometimes, but no, it's not.
It feels like it, but man, it's like, but once you get over it, it's like, oh, okay, well, I know not to do that in this time, and it's just very, it's a great place to be. I It's weird to say I love failing because I know that means I'm doing something rather than sitting on the couch watching TV or playing a video game.
Right.
Uh,
Yes. Yes. I agree.
I'll tell you, and I may edit this out or may not. When I learned how to appreciate failing was watching Julian learn how to walk.
Oh.
He would fall and fall and fall and fall and fall, but he kept getting up and he would get better each time. And I thought to myself, if this 7 month old could do it, I'm an idiot if I don't adopt the same mentality.
Right.
With everything that I know about life, it's okay to fail because it's only going to make me better.
Mhm.
So, with that being said, I would want to go to asking you. I know, and I kind of think I just answered it for myself. Was one of my biggest influences was I at 7 month old. Who is one of your biggest influences? Who has been one of your biggest influences or mentors? And it could be a couple people, but I just want to know who is helping you through this journey.
My mom definitely is one of my biggest influences. Um, she was my mother was a single mother. She raised my brother and I. My brother passed away a few years back. And I watched her handle life with such grace. But when I got diagnosed, my mother literally packed up a suitcase and moved here. No questions asked, and left her entire life in LA. And that motivated me to really be the best, not only survive, but to be the best person that I could be. And when I told her that I wanted to pursue my own business, she was right on board, like immediately. She helps me with my children. She helps me with my 5 year old. My mom has always lived a very independent life. She is a world traveler. That's her thing. And when I said I want to pursue this dream, on the tail end, I don't even think I was done with treatment yet. When I talked to the family, she immediately said, "What do we need to do?" So she really inspires me because um, I almost feel to some degree that she might be living a little bit, recapturing a little bit through me. That maybe she had some secret dreams that she didn't really pursue, and that she's kind of my cheerleader and helped me going on. But she motivates me when I'm tired and I don't feel good, and I've had a long day or I haven't had any clients that day. She says the right things, and she never says no when I need help. So she definitely is my biggest influencer.
That's awesome. I've met your mom a few times. She's such a friendly person. She does. It's not one of many words, but she just radiates a warmth. So I
True.
always appreciate being around her.
She's kind of cute. I'll keep her.
I suggest you do that. Um, well, and you
The
you
other
said
person. I don't know
Go
if I
ahead.
could try to say this. The other person that influences me is my brother who passed away.
Hmm.
Um, he was a self-taught artist. He was well known in the city, and he had an incredible ability to watch somebody do art in any medium and be able to recreate it.
Oh.
And he had a stroke at a really young age, and we were afraid that that would kill his artistic ability, but it developed some others, even though it impacted his speech and his motor skills and stuff. And he just never stopped. He just never stopped. And um, even though he was physically impaired and frustrated a lot with what life had dealt with, he never stopped. And so when we had his homegoing service, I was blown away by the number of people that showed up, and the stories that they told. And when I get frustrated, I think of my brother Jeff, and I think about what he did, how he just never stopped. And I thought, well, I can keep doing this. I can pluck some eyebrow hairs if he could keep doing that.
Right, 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 right. And that's a great testimony to the power of perseverance, and just actually a great testimony towards your brother. I'm sure he's smiling on you hearing that. Let me ask you. You said that you're a self-help junkie. Are there? Or do you have your favorites? Like I know I Jim Rohn is one of my favorites. Brian Tracy is one of my favorites. Les Brown, another one of my favorites. Zig Ziglar, and I live and breathe Napoleon Hill.
Right.
Who are some of your favorites? And who is someone if someone said, "Hey Tony, I need a book to read to get started on my journey," what would you say, or who would you recommend them listen to?
Um, I think I'm more into individual books versus whole authors and their works like you are, but
Mhm.
I love The Alchemist. And I read that. I read The Alchemist and Think and Grow Rich twice a year, every 6 months. So those two. I also like Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill. That's another one of my favorite books. My obsession right now is, oh, I hope I have her name right. I want to say it's Joyce Scoville Shin.
Mhm.
She's from the 1800s. She's from the same era as Napoleon Hill. She kind of reminds me of you a lot. She was big into affirmations and positive thinking back in that time frame, and she has um, a 3-book series you can get all in one book. And I know you're going to ask me the name of it, and for right now, I can't remember what it is. The Game of Life and How to Master It. I love that book.
The
Love
title
that
itself
book.
sounds just appealing. So,
It's amazing. So she is a book set, and together in it is The Game of Life and How to Master It and the Power of the Spoken Word. And there's one title. They're quick reads, but deep, impactful. Like you just are like, my bedroom mirror is just full of sticky notes with quotes from her book. So she's my new obsession. And this sounds so cliche. Um, I have an Oprah obsession. I love Oprah. I have an Oprah obsession because she speaks to the more spiritual side of me. So I always get some really good nuggets from watching her. I think I told you this. I love Super Soul Sunday, and so I love the people that she uncovers. Right. My goal this year is to read the book of every author that has appeared on Super Soul Sunday this year. Um, I think she finds some really great people and who has an awesome perspective on life.
that's awesome. I'm over here again. The chills will come again.
Mhm.
So, I knew when I planned this out that when we had this conversation, this was really going to be my favorite. I've talked to some really fun people, some really energetic people, really inspiring people, but I knew this conversation between you and I was going to be the best one because, again, even though we've just met each other in the past few years, there's an energy here.
Yeah.
So, my goal was not to have these as being interviews, but honest conversations that you and I have for people to witness and understand that you and I are some real people who are on a journey that mirrors a lot of other people's journey, and the building up of each other is what has kind of helped us along to this point.
I agree.
So with that being said, I'm gonna call you out
Oh,
just a little bit, just a little bit. I remember when I recommended The Alchemist to you, because that book, I felt when I read that book, I felt the shift in dynamic in my life. And I said, Tony, you need to read this book. And you said, I didn't like it.
I struggled with The Alchemist the first time I read it. I'll admit that. I struggled with that book. I struggled with that book because the analytical thinker in me was going crazy. It was like having pop rocks in my head. It was too much. The book was too much. But I've gone back and read it several times since then.
My little feelings would hurt like I wrote the book.
I remember texting you going, I can't finish this book. I can't do it. But I did.
And I'm glad that now it's on your top list of recommendations. The other thing, and this is nothing towards you, I'm also a huge fan of Oprah. This conversation we're having, this platform that I'm creating, is a testament to Super Soul Sundays, because I am looking to have conversation with people and share their stories so that they can inspire other people.
Oh, that's awesome! Because I was worried about saying that.
I'll be honestly, I hadn't even thought about it in that way, but for many, many years, I have been a huge fan of Oprah, because why not? I mean, just even if you don't like her personally, you cannot but help admire the success the woman has achieved. So why not follow that blueprint? And I'm laughing because there's an inside joke there that a mutual friend of ours, I used to try to get him to watch Oprah, and he wouldn't do it. He would not do it. And that was, I guess, like clue number one that he wasn't on that level yet. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I love that we share that energy as well.
I am too, because I'm telling you, I was nervous about admitting that one. Everybody's not an Oprah fan. And then, I love her success, but I love her openness to knowledge. Like, I love it.
Again, if you could feel whatever way you feel about Oprah, I don't know why you would feel any other way, but in admiration. You don't have to be in awe of her. Just understand that the woman has mapped out what's a successful plan to success. If nothing else, just follow her blueprint. You may not be a billionaire, but you'll be better off than you were when you started. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anyway, I'll probably end up editing a lot of this conversation now.
That's okay.
Segue. Great segue. Okay, so I asked you about your influences. I asked you about your mentors. I asked you about who your favorite reads are right now. What is the best piece of advice that a mentor or advisor or influencer has given you? You take your time. I could edit this.
It's a Dr. Seuss quote, but I can't remember it in detail right now. I think the best bit of advice I've ever been given that I probably have held on to most of my adult life is wherever you are, wherever you go, there you are. My mother told me that when I was really young, and I find myself referencing that often now that I'm in my 40s, because it's, as I've gotten older, it's meant different things to me, but it means that you take you wherever you go. So you need to be the best you that you can be always, because you are always there. People come and go, loved ones come and go, unfortunately. Life is cyclical, it changes. But you are your constant. So wherever you go, there you are. You are there always, and you need to make sure that you're that best person.
That's awesome. That's very awesome. My mom, she phrases it in the way uh, be cognizant of who you are when you show up. Um, because when you show up, that's who you need to be, and you'll take that person home with you, and that person to bed with you, and you'll wake up with that person. So yeah, that's great. I appreciate that. So on the flip side of that, what is the best piece of advice that you would give somebody? I usually say in 10 words or less, but I want to put you on the spot.
The best piece of advice I would give somebody. I think the best piece of advice that I would give someone probably is what I find myself telling my daughters a lot lately is that you truly, I believe this. So don't edit this part out because I really want this part to be in there. I truly believe in today's day and time, you can be whoever you want. You can be, it's all possible. I feel like even different from when you and I were younger and we were growing up, I feel like there are so many possibilities, so many avenues, so many ways to be your authentic self and be successful. And um, the the advice I like to give is that don't be pursue that. I feel like now we don't have to spend as much time being other people until we figure out who we are. It's almost like you have a straight path. Not to say this is a smooth path, but you have a straight path to being that person now. Um, you necessarily don't have to work. I worked in telecommunications for 20 years before I got here. That's not necessarily true anymore. So I think the best advice I can give is figure out who you are authentically and be that person. Just go straight forward. Be that person.
I couldn't agree more. Uh, this, honestly, one of the reasons that I have started doing this, and I don't mean specifically these interviews, but this whole space of being a success coach and a personal development coach, is to help people understand that they really can be whatever they want to be, as long as they believe in themselves and understand that it is a process, that there's a lot of hard work, but it's a lot of rewarding work.
Hmm.
I I remember growing up, and it's just, and you probably echoed this because we're similar in age, but like you said, growing up, I remember hearing you could be president of the United States, and I knew they were talking. Whoever the teacher said that, I knew they were talking to everybody in that room besides me,
But me,
and not understanding and not believing in myself at that point. I shortchanged myself a lot of ways, because now I look at, and this is not to say I'm regretful or if anything, but I look at Barack Obama and understand now that he believed that he could be anything that he wanted to be, and therefore he became president of the United States.
absolutely.
And
Yes.
there's a certain type of thinking and mindset, and I'm glad you used that word earlier, a mindset that really lends itself to making manifesting whatever those desires are. And I'm a believer in teaching that at a very young age now. I cringe every time Julian uses the word can't
Right.
at 3 years old, because I don't even want him to know what that word means.
Right.
Uh, um, so honestly, that's just great advice. And like you said, I'm glad that you're giving that to your daughters, that you do not have to settle for what the world will try to define you as.
Right.
I am is the most powerful two words in existence. Well, I'm going to wrap this up, but I got
Yeah.
a couple more questions
I've had
for
so
you.
much fun.
See, I'm glad. I'm glad. Please share this
I
with
will. I
our
will.
cohorts and let them know I'm looking for more people to inspire others. I only have a couple more questions for you, or maybe three questions.
Okay.
Uh, you know me. You know me. One of biggest my biggest things that I advocate for. Hold on, I'm going to wait for this phone to stop ringing.
I can't hear it this time.
Oh, okay. Well, one of the biggest things I advocate. Okay, five, four, three, two, one. You know, one of the biggest things that I advocate for is gratitude. It goes hand in hand with the whole mindset thing that we were just talking about. I believe that you prime yourself to receive whatever the universe has for you by presenting yourself to be grateful at all times. Uh, you know, anytime that I'm in a funk, the first thing I do is work on a gratitude list. How many times have I told you when you say that you're in a bad place, what do I recommend?
Countless times to go do your gratitude list. Yeah.
So this should be a softball for you. What are you most grateful for right now?
What am I most grateful for right now? One thing.
No, it could be. Yeah, go ahead, knock yourself out. You can knock
Okay.
out your gratitude list now if you want. The floor is yours.
Um, Life. I'm most grateful for life every day that I'm here. Um, I'm most grateful for the people in my life. I think, like right now, that I have wonderful people in my life. That's not always true, you know. So, like, I've healed relationships and um, all that. I'm grateful for the people in my life, for the love and support that I get. Um, of course, I'm grateful for my children, but even more grateful for that, I'm grateful for the future. I'm grateful for what I'm seeing starting to emerge in them.
Mm,
And I see the last thing that I'm grateful for um, are, are the possibilities. I'm really grateful that I even have possibilities ahead of me of where life is going to and can take me and the business and my girls. And I'm grateful for that.
that's awesome. That's a great answer. The platform that I always preach is and this is part of the mindset is understanding that you need to be habitually, purposefully, and powerfully grateful for every opportunity, person, and circumstance that you encounter. And I think you just nailed each one of those. So I appreciate that answer very much. The last part is just a little bit of housekeeping
Oh,
because we've talked about your journey, who you are, and the journey, of course, is that great salon that you're sitting in. With I love the sign, I really do.
thank you.
So if somebody sees this, well, we want to say when somebody sees this, and they say, "Wow, I was really touched by her story." And I have a group of young people, young women who need to hear her message, or I have a sister who's going through the same thing, and I think she needs to hear this message. Or, hey, we're going out for Jonathan's birthday this weekend. I need to have my eyebrows on
It
fleek.
is your birthday.
It's Monday. I need my eyebrows on fleek, as they say. How do they contact Miss Tonie Jones?
Okay, so my contact information, we'll do like the salon first. Well,
Mhm.
Brow Snob is the name, BROWSNOB. We are on Facebook under Brow Snob. Our contact number, 720-767 BROW. I'm on every social media under Brow Snob. So if you can't remember Tonie Jones, if you can remember Brow Snob, you're going to find me. Um, and then Tonie Jones is my name, and my email is browsnob01@gmail.com. Um, I also have a breast cancer page where I track my breast cancer journey and the breast cancer journey of what I call my cancer sisters. And that page is saying "ta ta" to my tatas, and that's on Facebook as well.
All right, that's awesome. And as always, I will, as when I go back in the editing of that, I'll have all the information there so people can actually verbal or audibly hear it and visually see it, so they can connect with you.
Awesome.
All right, Tony, this has been awesome. I feel so disrespectful to everybody else who I've done this with when I say that this has been my favorite one, but I knew that it was going to be just because, again, you and I have that energy, and it's just you're very transparent. Not that anybody else hasn't been transparent, but your story is just so inspirational, and I love the fact that you're willing to share it with me and hopefully millions of others as we grow this out together. I love you like my sister. I can't thank you enough for all the help that you've done for me, helping me edit the book, read the book, refine the books that are upcoming, endorsing my books, and actually being a human experiment and actually testing out some of the things that I've said in the book. I love you to death for taking a chance on me and let me know that the things that I'm doing are working.
Oh,
So
thanks, friend. I love you too. I'm really
uh,
proud of you. Jonathan. Truly, I am. I'm proud of you.
thank you so
You're
much.
awesome.
The
Yeah.
feeling is so mutual. When I saw the post, you said that you were signing the lease. I was like, look at here. She's not going to be doing brows in her basement. Oh, look at her.
No,
She
no, we're trying
legit.
to make this. We got a ways to go, but we're trying to make this. We're making a name for ourselves. You just want to see.
Already,
Hey,
already.
I knew who
Well,
to win.
I am. I will wrap this up. I thank you again so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
And we will be in touch in actually just a few minutes. I'm gonna wrap this up and officially 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We'll be off the air, but I still want to talk to you.